Casual day. Casual day with Jay Nasty. Son, come here. There's booty cheeks out here. You in here looking for chips and Slim Jims for shit. You ain't gay, is you? Huh? Are you gay?
Hey guys, we're back with another birth chart. So today, we're doing an unusual one for me because usually I try to pick people I admire or look up to. But today I kind of picked Blueface because I wanted to know why he was such a fuckboy. Honestly, I wanted to know why he was such an asshole. And I was kind of shocked by looking at his chart, especially because his sun and his moon is the opposite of me, okay? He's a sun in Aquarius and a moon in Gemini, and I am a Gemini sun and a moon in Aquarius. So we're kind of reversed. So when I first seen it, I was like, no, 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 no. You don't represent us. You don't represent that Gemini Aquarius energy, Blueface. You definitely don't. I don't know how. I was shocked by that because he gives off big fuckboy energy. And I thought that his chart would basically tell me why he was such a fuckboy. So let's look into it and see if we can figure out why he's such a fuckboy. Okay, so we see his sun sign is very undeveloped. So he's not very developed in being an Aquarius sun. So he's definitely learning how to be a humanitarian in a lot of ways. His moon sign, however, in Gemini is very developed. So that tells me he may be somewhat manipulative, especially if he's in his lower aspects, which I believe that he is. He's not evolved at all. So he definitely can be very manipulative in a lot of aspects. I see that he has a lot of Capricorn in his chart, so that tells me he's very stubborn. He's very set in his ways. He likes things to go his way or the highway, okay? I also see that I always want to point out that North Node is in Libra, and it's in retrograde. So he's definitely, in this lifetime, he's having to assess this Libra energy. And we're going to go in more depth because with the Chiron and the North Node, because I didn't really know a lot about the North Node being in Libra. And the Chiron is in Scorpio, okay? So this is his soul wound. And it's in Scorpio, and as you see, they're both very underdeveloped, okay? So he's definitely learning to develop these qualities. So when we go into our Chiron, okay, so going into his Chiron in Scorpio, the wound is related to the individual's self-worth, sexuality, and perception of death and transformation. And as we know, he's a very hypersexual person, okay? I don't know if you guys seen the recent videos, but he's definitely very, very hypersexual. And perception of death and transformation. This individuals will experience intense mood swings and catastrophic feelings, and we know that's very true for him. Deep paranoia and anxiety in particular. They will have gone through some form of psychological trauma or abuse that causes them to become overly protective of themselves, their belongings, and their loved ones. So deep inside of them, they harbor feelings of misery and guilt, even if they have not done anything wrong, leading them to self-destructive behaviors. And we know that is very true for Mr. Blueface. Okay, so now I'm looking into his North Node in Libra. We see it's a cardinal air sign ruled by Venus. So finding fulfillment and creating harmonious relationships with others. These individuals are pushed to fight nice, think before acting, and find ways to cooperate with others. And if we also keep in mind that his North Node was in retrograde, so he's constantly reflecting on this North Node in Libra, okay? And this is finding harmonious relationships with others. And Libra also deals with justice, so he may have in a lot of ways felt wronged in his life, and he's trying to find and seek some kind of resolution for that. So let's go back to his birth chart. So looking at other aspects of his birth chart, we see that the earth element is dominant among the inner planets, as we've seen that stellium in Capricorn. So we know he's someone who needs structure in his life, but if it's abused, he can be someone who can be a bad authority figure, like a dictator in a lot of ways, and also being stubborn, being that it's in Capricorn, and they're known for being very stubborn and set in their ways. We also see his inner planets do not fall in fire and water, and the cardinal mode is dominant, okay? So he definitely has a strong energy and a presence, and being that he has that Aquarius sun, but it's very underdeveloped, so he's learning a lot about how to be an Aquarius in nature with that humanitarian and even with those rebellious aspects of, having to help each other, but that was underdeveloped, as we know. So being with that air influence, that sun and moon, and me, myself, I know that influence, it can be misused if put into the wrong hands. And being that we've seen that his soul wound, his Chiron, was in Scorpio, he does struggle with feelings of worthiness, and he may have issues with his sexual identity, and he may be over exerting that, and we see that he is someone who overexerts and is very hypersexual, and having those issues in his life. So it definitely ties into his feelings of worthiness, and he's reassessing that Libra North Node that's in his chart. I don't really want to go too much in depth with that, but we do kind of have a little bit of an idea why he may be stubborn and stuff, and maybe one day I'll cover more in depth and looking into why that, because like I said, I picked this because I wanted to know why he was such an asshole. But finding out some things we do know, the stubbornness and the soul wound is definitely very true for him. And as we see here, his Sun, Jupiter, and Neptune are on the midheaven, so his midheaven sign correlates with his Sun sign, his Jupiter, and his Neptune. So if we go back and look at that in his chart, that has a lot to do with his higher self and embracing his higher self aspects, which we know he's not an evolved sign.